How about now? You can hear me now. Is that better? Thank you for letting me know that. I'm half asleep here this morning. Now you should hear me. Richie, good morning. Milton, good morning. Alan, Stephen, good morning. Glad to have all you guys. Now don't be playing with them. I neglected to ask this question on the golf tournament thing or the golf outing that we're going on. What do we have a format that we play? Is it all individual? Do we play teams? Do we play? How does that work?
I think I want to say it's either captain's choice or like best ball. Something like that.
I love the captain's choice thing.
Yeah, I've got them playing in like 4 of them the next.
I know you're not in charge. We'll have to ask Stephen.
Mandy. Steve. Well, actually, Stephen will probably know. He's big, very big in boosters. Brian Long.
No. I'm not talking about this weekend.
Wait, you're talking about when we go. Okay, so it changes up a little bit. Okay.
We're going to be gone in a couple weeks. We're taking a little golf trip. I have never been on a golf outing with a group of guys ever. 62 years old, love to play. Never been. My wife is trusting me to go with 4. So in his group. So that's where we're going. So. What I was asking, what do we play at the beach?
So it could be anything from best ball off the tee for that particular hole. It could be second or third shot, best ball from there, just depending on the hole and the distance. And then some days we just play it straight up. Okay. So it's kind of like the feel of the group.
And that's good.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe, mix things up a couple of times, group-wise, and just see how things play out.
I saw that, Richie. Speaking of golf, Phil will not be playing in the Masters for the first time in 30 years.
Why is that?
And I don't know. I thought once you win the Masters, is it an injury, Richie?
Because you always get the invite back, right?
Yeah,
when you win, that's
if
standard.
you finish in the top so many, you get an automatic invite. If you're a U.S. Open or PGA champion winner, you get an invite. If you've won a tournament the previous year, you get an invite. And I thought the Masters thing was lifetime. It may be 10 years or 20 years or I don't know what it is. Or it could be an injury with Phil. I'm not sure what it is. I don't think Tiger is going to play. He's going to play a couple events, but I don't think I don't think he's played. That's a hilly course if you ever been. Yeah. I mean, you don't think about it that way, but it really is. It's pretty different. Talking about some of those golf tournaments, I know this weekend the tournament with the boosters we're playing, that's a 2-man captain's choice, which I like those. Right. I know that most of the times when you play in a charity-type tournament like that, they're captain's choice. Keep things moving, everybody enjoy it. Right. And most of the ones that I've ever played in, because people win them with obscene scores 18 under and stuff like that. Right. A lot of tournaments are par max. So if you're putting for par, you go ahead and pick it up and move on. Bogey at the most. Right. But I've played in a couple of tournaments that really slowed down in that it was best ball off the tee. You went to the best ball off your drive, and then everybody played their own individual balls, and you took the best score from the hole.
It takes a long time to do that.
That slows you down when you got that many people.
I mean, when you tee off and you're going this way, I have to drive 7 miles over here to get mine to bring it back to yours. And that
I have that problem.
Yeah. So
you play golf left-handed or right-handed?
Right. Okay. And I'm a baseball guy, so I push the ball.
Okay.
Yeah,
and so
it's got I have to compensate a lot because of the inside-out swing and
trying to take the ball.
A lot
of times I can't have enough left fairway to get it out there to bring it back to where I can find it when I get. Now I've gotten a little better. Joe Hughes, good morning. Glad to have you along. Got good old Harold Varner from Gastonia in the Masters field this year. So that's nice to have somebody local in that as well. I'll see what I can find out on the field story as we move on this morning. There are a lot of things starting to come out about the Panthers. I read an article last night that Tepper's just kind of lost and floundering and not sure what he's supposed to do, and he's got a coach that he's not sure what he's supposed to do, and there's a lot of disenfranchised Carolina Panther fans that are not happy with the direction that the team is going. So, and I don't think there was anybody that understood why he got the huge contract to start with in the long term, and then why he was kept after this year. Because it's fairly obvious that there's no direction, there's no plan. We're just kind of winging it. From a coaching standpoint, I think I'd want a 4 to 5 year deal, and I'd want an extension every year if I did well. And that's usually the way those coaching contracts run. Usually they keep 2 to 4 years out there in front of you, and then they extend you so that you're not a lame duck. But Matt Rule's got, this will be his third year, so he's got this year and 5 more, but he's lame duck.
Yeah,
I think he would have to win the NFC to keep his job, and I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think today's world, there's really 2 trains of thought, right? There's you can be first and be the wow, or you can be process oriented and get it right, and then end up being first for a long time, or close to first. And, I think with, what Matt Rule did, coaching college ball on the innovative side of things, did not have any proven, obviously track record in NFL, right? That it was more about the wow factor and getting the latest.
But he wasn't even a wow. I didn't know who the guy was.
Well, that's fair.
Urban Meyer was a wow factor, but
it was wow, yeah.
Yeah, but not Matt Rule.
Well, I mean, that's fair, but he did have, a lot of credibility in the eyes of the wow factor people because it was flashy and it was, exciting, and this is what I'm doing. Yeah, unfortunately, again, in the world we live in, that's kind of the direction that things are going right now. You're either trying to be first, and it's all about style, okay, or you're substance-based. And when you say things like, or made comments a few minutes ago about, Tepper really didn't know where he's going, that fan base is kind of in disarray. When you don't have directional focus, chaos ensues. And that doesn't mean things don't get a little crazy from time to time, but it doesn't linger. This has been lingering since really about the 6th week of the season.
Well, and it's completely opposite of what Tepper said when he came in.
Right. But
his commitment, he hasn't delivered on his commitment.
Right, and I think it's true in any form of business. There's a lot of people that say things, but you really have to watch what they do. And, especially in the business world like that, where you have multiple businesses and multiple entities, if your focus is on bringing a world championship, a Super Bowl championship to Charlotte, then you spend your time on that and not promoting, another major league sport.
Well, he could.
I'm not saying that it's wrong. Please,
he could do that.
What I'm saying.
He could do that if he put the right people in charge, which he should, because he doesn't know how to run an NFL franchise.
Well,
and he didn't do that either.
Right. So, but he did own some of the Steelers, right? So he did have experience in some of the operational things. Not necessarily handling himself, but knowing. The process from a minority owner standpoint, right? Of shares, in the business. But again, when there has been more flash and flair about the renovations done in the stadium, which is fine. But this is what happens to the other sport. There's nothing wrong with people, wanting. Again, I want to be very clear about that. I'm not anti-soccer. What I'm saying is, with Tepper and the Panthers, your focus is your reality. And I'm sorry. I get a call every year. I'm sure you do. Got friends, hey, you want these PSLs, you want this? The answer is no.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't like or want to support things. It's just because I don't know where it's going to be from year to year and if there's even going to be a stadium. People say, oh, it's crazy.
You'll never get that again, and they'll never honor those PSAs when they build that new stadium. None of that stuff.
And that, again, he's in charge. It's his business.
His money.
He can do whatever he wants to do. But when stuff like this starts happening, you can't throw your hands up in there and say, what happened?
Yeah.
Because it's unfolding in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
Now, again,
you're just choosing to ignore it.
He is a brilliant, to dismiss his brilliance would be absolutely absurd and asinine, okay? He is a brilliant person, a brilliant businessman. But if you're directionally
football guy.
If you're directionally focused on the Carolina Panthers winning a Super Bowl, you might want to try to, get some counseling or put that on reserve for a few years until, maybe that becomes the focus.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Well, Joe brought a good point up here too, not to mention now he's got a disconnect with the city of Rock Hill in terms of funding for the Panther facility because he couldn't get what he wanted in Charlotte. And been tough times for Tepper for sure. He may have had a plan, but he's not doing a good job executing it. If he wanted to build a new stadium for the Panthers and make this a soccer stadium, that's completely great. But he doesn't look like he's got everything where he needs to be. And Milton said Tepper needs an old-school GM to build a quality product. Either that or he needs a proven GM that knows how to build a team basically from scratch because he's got nothing to work with right now.
So I think his fan base is more of what Milton's talking about, maybe that old school type GM, something. Well, I know Belichick basically runs everything, with Kraft, obviously having his hand in a lot more than people think, right? But, having that feel for, what you want to do with your team is more responsive in an area like we are, based on the way that people remember being brought up, remember how things are, where it's that hard-nosed, a little bit more tough mentality. Wouldn't it be great if we had a run-oriented football team in Carolina? A lot of people say, no, I want points, and I understand that. But if you want to win a championship, there's two things that you must do. Number one, you must have an extremely disciplined and very aggressive defense, first. And number two, you've got to have a ground game because if you get in a shootout match, anything can happen. If you control the football, then you control the narrative. And you can do that on both ends with a running game and, tough defense. And, obviously having the kickers is so important because of field position. I get all that. But I think the other thing with Tepper too, also is that, he's trying to feel his way around to get the best possible deal for what he is wanting to do. So if you see a bear like a Rock Hill or a Charlotte, you don't run up to it and punch it in the mouth. You poke it and see how it responds, see how aggressive it is. And he's a businessman. And again, that's just an opinion, but just an observation. And I believe Joe made the comment about Rock Hill, not to mention Rock Hill. I think to his point, that's kind of what's happening.
He's definitely got to try to figure it out. Let me take a break. When we come back, I'll tell you why Phil's not in the Masters. Thank you, Richie.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. And welcome back. Glad to have you here on a rainy Wednesday. Paul Rimmer along with me this morning. Juju will check in with us tomorrow. Bill Bender hopefully will check in with us again tomorrow. But the whole Phil Mickelson thing, there was some pushback, and there's even talk on whether he's been suspended by the PGA for comments that he's made. He is still listed as a participant, as well as past champion Trevor Immelman, who is now also out of the field. But Phil Mickelson is no longer on the list of players scheduled to compete, having moved to the section of the tournament website that lists past champions who are not competing. Phil won the Masters 3 times, 04, 06, and 10, but he's been embroiled in controversy due to disparaging comments he made about the PGA Tour in relationship to his conversations with LIV Golf Investments about joining a rival league being fronted by Hall of Famer Greg Norman. Right. Here's the thing, and I also saw something stupid, and I haven't even done any research on it. Players should be allowed to participate wherever they want to participate. I don't like the rules of saying you've got to participate in X amount of tournaments, because you've got a lot of foreign players that like to come over here and play, but they have obligations in Europe and Australia and different places,
for their sponsors.
And it makes them hard for them to do it. Yeah. But we have so many, and I use the term league loosely with the PGA. You have, I guess this better term, you have so many controlling bodies that really want to exercise that control and tell you, well, these are the requirements, and if you can't play in all of this, you can't play in any. I think that'll come back to bite them somewhere down the road, because especially golf has become such a global game. Yeah. It is. And they play tournaments all around the world, and you've got top stars from all around the world. Golf is one of those sports that's a little bit different, and when you look at the top players, it really is around the world. Some people laugh because the NFL Super Bowl champions call themselves world champions. Well, not exactly, because there's not franchises all over the world, and not everybody plays it, but in the known world for football it is. Right. But when you start talking about golf, men's and women's, you're talking about golfers from all around the globe. So the PGA had a nice time when it only had a couple of foreign players, a Gary Player, for example, and some of those guys. Yeah. But now you're going to have to kind of – and it's kind of like the NCAA. You either change or you don't exist anymore, because people just say, look, I'm not playing by all those rules. I have obligations that I have to fulfill too, and I think some changes will come. But right now, PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan, back on March the 8th at the Players, stepped around questions about whether or not Phil had been suspended. But a suspension would not apply to the Masters because that is not a PGA-sanctioned event.
Right.
But it'll be interesting. I know one of the things, and Phil's folks have declined to comment, but I think it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But there was some interest in people wanting to play in this Saudi Arabia league because it was going to be a world league. I mean, they were going to have tournaments all over the world.
Yeah.
And that I can see where that would draw some people that just aren't United States golfers.
Yeah, and we're such a global, interconnected, interdependent, world now, due to many factors. Obviously technology being the greatest one, for the ability to do what we're doing now. How easy it is to send an email, how quickly you can, converse on the phone, Skype, Zoom, whatever you're doing. And it's a little tougher on traditional events when new things start coming up. So the first thing they will likely do, like anybody else, when something new comes in, they start getting defensive. And they spend their energy on their being defensive instead of being proactive and how to, best adapt to the situation that is changing. We're in an ever-changing world. And I think one thing that the PGA which is very traditional, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. One thing that mirrors the PGA and many people in society all across the world is it's not those that are the strongest that survive change, Lanny. It's those most willing to adapt to it.
That's correct.
You don't have to sacrifice your beliefs, your character, your integrity, your principles, but you also, have to be proactive in the way that you navigate that change. And anytime you see a defensive signal, means there's reluctance to the change. And we all experience that daily in our lives.
I quit fighting change a long time ago because you can't win. Life goes on. Everything around you changes from day to day. I don't care what it is, where you eat, where you go, laws, taxes, everything changes. So you've got to stop fighting it because you can't win that. I mean, you really can't. Yeah. I've done it for too long.
You're right.
In the industry that I'm in technology, I have been in places where people have fought. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't like that. I like what I used to use. Doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't work.
You're right, and you're 100% right. And I think the approach that I take, when I'm trying to learn something new or learn about someone or listening to something that is changing, right? The first thing I try to do is listen and learn. Right? It's natural to try to jump up and say, well, that's not going to work. You can't do that. But I try to listen and learn. And then if it's something I really want to get into and try to understand, I study, test, analyze, and model it like you wouldn't believe. All right? Profile it, everything, okay? And then what I do is I go back with questions, based on that analysis, right? And then I do my research on it. And everything I do is independent, unbiased, always taking into account long-term, risks that are involved in the change or not changing. Okay, and then what I do is once the thing that I'm up against or the thing that I'm trying to learn makes sense, then I implement a plan on how to adapt to it, and then I monitor, evaluate, and adjust the situation. Right. So I try to do that. I try to be a dad like that. I try to be a husband like that. Whether I'm doing my business or, whatever. But what I did growing up was more on the defensive side of things and not accepting things as they are. And I've had to break that mold and learn how. But that's what we do is we grow as people and we try to, understand and seek further understanding on things. It doesn't mean that I agree with it, but, it doesn't mean that I'm not willing to listen either.
Let me give you some of the details and how this is the thing with Mickelson, because he's lost all his sponsorships too. But what he said, this came out in the biography, an unauthorized biography, so you don't know exactly where that's at, but he had been involved in drawing up the working agreement for a breakaway league financed by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. He describes the Saudis as scary, but said he was looking past their controversial history of human rights violations to gain leverage with the PGA Tour. If I'm not mistaken, we're partners with Saudi Arabia. I want to say that's kind of one of our quote-unquote allies, but he got widespread criticism from PGA Tour players, and he apologized later. Callaway has paused its sponsorship, as well as KPMG, Amstead Light, and Workday. And the American Express tournament said it would no longer serve as his host, and his foundation would no longer be associated with the event. Yeah. And then Mickelson said in his apology, although it doesn't look this way now, given my recent comments, my actions throughout this process have been and always been with the best interest of golf, my peers, sponsors, and fans. There's a problem of off-the-record comments being shared out of context and without my consent. Yeah. But the bigger issue is that I used words that do not reflect my true feelings or intentions. It was reckless. I offended people, and I'm deeply sorry for my choice of words. I'm beyond disappointed and will make every effort to self-reflect and learn from this. He added that he was taking time away from golf to prioritize the ones he loves most and work on being the man he wants to be. Now, most of the time when you say something, it's what you were thinking. And sometimes it's not politically correct, so they want to come back and nail you to the wall for what you said. And sponsor, here again, Phil has the right to say what he wants to, and the sponsors have the right to disassociate if they don't agree with it. Sure. That's fine. Sure. But the thing is, the thing that bothers me is the hypocrisy that goes on with it, because there's a lot of things that are behind the scenes, but they let those go with other people because nobody sees them. So if it doesn't draw a direct reflection or view of you, we're going to pretend like that didn't happen. That bothers me, because I've always said, just because nobody's around doesn't mean what you're doing isn't wrong. You have to look at it, and I don't do everything right. I don't say everything right, but I completely own everything I say, and I do. I think it's bad, and somehow I missed the human rights violations of Saudi Arabia. I'm not that well versed into. Maybe Robbie or Buff can educate me on the way to the beach.
They can give you a little bit of history.
Give me some history on that. Yeah.
So I think there's a difference there. When business or government has mutual, beneficial need with a partner, it's different than having a need or having that connection with someone that has the same beliefs, values, those kind of things that you share. And so, obviously Saudi Arabia, has, what they do in their country, their beliefs, their values. And, of course, the world is obviously a melting pot now. But, I think when relations first started, there was more, I guess, concentrated beliefs and values in the United States in certain ways, right? So, it's just, we're global, right?
That's correct.
And it's –
well, Todd says Todd got me caught up on my history here. He said, I believe U.S. and Saudi have been allies since the mid-'40s during World War II.
But there's a mutual, we needed a lot of things from
them. We need them. They need us. And, we don't always agree with what you're doing, but you've got to handle your own stuff.
And that's going to happen in any, most agreements around the world with different countries. There's just different ways of doing things. Again, beliefs, values, those kind of things. That's okay. That doesn't make anybody right or wrong. It makes it what it is. Mm-hmm. You can judge right or wrong how you choose to, and that's fine.
Mark, that's a great comment there. Mark says, Phil the Thrill was one of my favorite golfers of all time. I'm beginning to feel that I am a curse to any person or team I root for. Either that or my choices just flat out suck.
Well, when you really want to break it down,
he's walked away from the Panthers. He's mad at his state team, and Alan says looks like state's going to be a team of walk-ons for some things that they did. Yeah. Folks, and Todd, the other thing that Todd says, nothing stands still. You're either moving forward or you're falling behind. You cannot just stand in place. It doesn't work that way.
And if you're not growing,
you're dying.
You're
dying. That's correct.
And like it or not, you can sit there and fuss about not you.
You can say, "Well, I'm not gonna do anything." Yeah, that's the same thing.
But the world is the world, and you can either wait for it to adapt to you, which you'll be a miserable human if you're waiting for that, or you can go ahead and try to get out in front of it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Rich. If you're not moving forward, you're backing up.
Yeah, that's it.
There's no other way to slice that. Yeah. Let's see what else is. Of course, the big story out is in the NFL is Matt Ryan headed to the Indianapolis Colts. I think he makes them better. Now, does he make them a contender? I don't know, but I'm still convinced that Frank Reich is one of the top coaches in the NFL because he deals with whatever situation and just does his best that he can with it. And then also, you know who his brother is. His brother's head coach at Wingate.
Yeah.
Joe Reich.
Yeah, right.
And another super nice guy.
Correct.
Another super nice
good people.
guy.
Yeah, just good people. And I think the thing, too, with Indianapolis is, if they don't get beat by Jacksonville, guess what? They're in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Playoffs. Mm-hmm. They're in. So
without any stellar talent.
Carson Wentz, who for years I had to listen to Eagles fans, who I have many friends that are, Nick Foles is not our guy. It's Carson Wentz. And I'm like,
he's the one that won it.
Okay. So you're going to take the Super Bowl MVP and a guy that was stellar for the last several games of the season and say, yeah, he's old. We want this guy.
You got to look at who their owner is, Jim Irsay. That's stability issues.
Well, and then of course and then the whole deal with the Colts, right? And then and Frank Reich was very happy to get Carson Wentz. He I believe he coached him at Philadelphia. Is that right? When he was there with, and he really liked and he believes in the potential. And sometimes the potential is there, but it just stays unrealized.
Yeah.
That doesn't make anybody a terrible person or wrong. It just you either get it done or you don't. And I think what really came to light was the lack of training before the NFL. It all came to light with the pass out of the end zone as he was falling back.
Yeah, I think
you can get away with that when you're great and the other teams you're playing are not real good. Mm-hmm. You can't get away with that in the NFL. And that's why your best tested quarterbacks day in and day out, regardless, and again, this is an opinion, regardless of where they are, the best tested are those that play in the SEC, particular teams in the SEC against each other, and then some of those on the West Coast that are exposed to those high-powered defenses and how they react to them when they play them non-conference or in a bowl game.
Nope, I agree.
So, we really need to be careful, and I say we, when we start making, this guy's a great athlete.
You can't make these blanket assessments.
Yeah, based off of, but, the way he measures against NFL talent, even though they don't have anything measurable, they start predicting it, which is fine. But when does it ever come to fruition?
Oh, I know. Yeah. Let me take a time out. Back with more.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with department staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. And welcome back. Glad to have you here. It is not just raining. It's raining outside, and I got to go be on the road pretty much most of the day today, in and out. I'm not excited about that. Of course, I will say this. My first stop where I've got to deliver and replace a new copier, their canopy connects to the store.
Ooh.
So I can pull up under the canopy and go in the door, and I don't get wet. Well, of course, I don't melt.
Sweet, you'd melt.
Yeah, no, I don't melt.
Yeah.
I can assure you, I do not melt. That's not a real threat. All right, let me give you this one. This is. I hadn't got you fired up good, yes. So
no, I'm Dr. Jekyll today. I'm not Mr. Hyde.
Okay,
so I'm fine today.
Here's some things out of the USFL that may be considered. How about 3-point conversions, an alternative option for onside kick and best of 3 shootout and overtime? This is USFL. Scoring teams have a third option to attempt an extra point. I like this. A successful scrimmage play from 10 yards. Okay. It's traditionally what, the 2-yard line, 3-yard line?
3.
The 3-yard line.
NFL maybe 2.
I can't remember.
For the 2-point conversion, and 3 for the –
is
that right?
I think it's 2. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3.
It's
anyway.
2 for the 2-yard line for 2-point conversion.
Yeah. The ball goes back to the
line.
25
right.
for the kick if you want a 1
cow.
point. But a 10-yard extra point, I like
moly.
things in there that make people make decisions.
Yeah.
Do I want to roll the dice?
Well, the AAF that you and I like to watch.
Yeah.
They had
I like stuff. I liked it.
The onside, not necessarily the onside kick, but it's like 4th and 15 at the whatever. Right.
And I really want onside kick to go away and kickoffs to go away.
Oh.
And I like this for a onside kick. Here's what it would be.
Okay.
If you want to retain possession after scoring, you would have to convert a 4th and 12.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
From your own 33.
Okay.
Meaning if you don't convert, then you turn it over right there, and that's really short field. You've got a team that's in field goal range. But you got to make that decision.
Absolutely.
Because right now, onside kicks very, very, very seldom work.
And all right, so why is that? Have the rules changed?
Yes. It's not the same because you can't start, you can't run, cross a line, all that kind of stuff.
because of safety. So if you've changed it to that degree, then you need to just take it out of the game
because of safety.
And that's what I'm saying.
You can collide heads.
Kickoffs. Look at kickoffs.
You can't do a kickoff.
Now you can waive fair catch at the 5 and you get on the 25, like kicking it in the end zone. So why have a kickoff? So anyway, I like that.
But it's player longevity is the reason a lot of these rules are in place. I'm not, again, saying it's right or wrong, but the numbers are skewed, all right, in favor of going to the protectionist side. And then eventually it's narrowed down to offense and defense with very few punts and very few, kickoff and kickoff returns. They're going to eliminate.
Oh, my God. Listen to these rule changes. I'm going to love this. These are some USFL now, okay? 2 forward passes from behind the line of scrimmage are legal.
You should be able to shovel a ball, run out in the corner, and still throw it when it doesn't pass the line. I completely agree.
Each coach will be allowed 1 replay challenge. USFL Replay Command at Fox Sports Control Center in Los Angeles will make the decisions.
Absolutely.
All kickoffs will be from the 25. No kicking team member may line up any further back than 1 yard, while the receiving team must have at least 8 players in the setup zone between their 35 and 40. After a kickoff travels 20 yards, the first touch must be by the receiving team. If an untouched kick becomes dead, the ball belongs to the receiving team at the spot. So it's like a punt.
It's no longer a live ball.
It's no longer a live ball.
Right.
On punts, gunners may not line up outside the numbers, and they cannot be double team blocked until the ball is kicked. I like that too because, anyway.
It's like the shift in baseball. Adapt or die.
Yeah. Now,
put the ball on the ground and hit.
How about this one? I love this one. This needs to be in every sport. The clock will stop for first downs inside 2 minutes of the second and fourth quarter. If you get a first down in the first quarter,
you're not punished for it.
The clock runs.
I understand.
Keep that clock running.
Yeah.
To me, that makes up a lot in player safety because it cuts down the number of plays. Okay.
That's fair. I mean, obviously, the less
and
you do,
it speeds the game up a little bit.
Yeah.
The penalty for defensive pass interference will mirror the NCAA rule with exceptions. First, a defender intentionally tackling a receiver beyond 15 yards would become a spot foul, which is kind of what it is now. It's a spot foul anywhere.
Right.
Now, the penalty will be a spot foul if it occurs 15 yards or less from the line of scrimmage, or a 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage if the spot of the foul is beyond 15 yards. So you can't go down the field. I don't like it when you have a pass interference that's 35 yards down the field and they get the ball there.
So the issue with that's going to be on the goal line, inside the 5 or 10.
You get it on the 1.
I mean,
if it's in the end zone.
Well, you know what I'm saying, and that's just a way that you can basically manipulate the game. I mean, you can do that now, but
with it being a spot foul, that's a defensive move.
Yeah.
Instead of giving up the touchdown, I'm going to take the penalty.
Well, I'm just going to give. That's what you do. That's why you tackle the guy when he beats you deep.
Yeah. If a pass does not cross the line of scrimmage, there can be no pass interference or ineligible player downfield.
Absolutely, and that's a good rule. That way, you have your jailbreak, where you catch the ball behind the line, your lineman can be downfield. That's okay.
Here's the deal.
That's okay.
I really like the new spring football. I do. I think it's something. I realize it's not NFL talent, and there may be the only player that I really know of name is the Walker kid that's a backup quarterback for the Panthers. He was the best quarterback in the USFL when they played it.
Yeah.
He's just small. That's his only problem. He's just slight.
Yeah.
Also, the USFL will be using 32 game officials who are in the NFL development pipeline.
Perfect.
I like that too.
It's going to make everything better if they will work together.
Those crews also have college officiating experience and are part of the more established leagues program that provides opportunities for college-level officials who are ready to advance to professional football. In the USFL, they will use 5 crews of 7 officials, referee, umpire, down judge, line judge, field judge, side judge, back judge, with 2 crews working 2 games on any given weekend. Of the 35 total officials in the league, which kicks off on April 16th, with all games in Birmingham, Alabama, 33 have worked in the Power 5 conferences. The all-inclusive USL officials roster includes 4 women and 16 people of color. Those things I don't care about. Tell me your experience and how much you've seen ball. Your eyes have been on the ball game. That's what I'm looking for. I don't care who you are. I don't care about your gender. I don't care about your race. I'm caring about how much do you know the game and understand the game and the rules. That's what is important to me. The USFL will have the best officials not currently in the NFL.
I think it's a great stepping stone for them because, a lot of the NFL, officials have been there a long time, and several have put retirement off, and they're trying to fill the pipeline. Think about if our high school athletic association actually did this where, you could graduate from – either starting in youth league or doing middle school ball and then step up to JV ball and then varsity ball at the speed of the game. Imagine, being able to do that. And Lanny, I got to tell you, the NFL's smart, and they're staying ahead of the curve. I think in high school football, you're going to start seeing conference games. One conference is going to play on Thursday, one will play on Friday, and one's going to play on Saturday because there's just not enough of the quality of the officiating crews available. There's a lot of really good officials out there that take it very serious, and then there's some you can tell by the way they walk up and the way they're dressed and the way they look, hands in pockets, all these things that they're just there because somebody needs to be, or they've got to have that, $60, $80, whatever, and that's okay too. But it's not okay for for the sport.
I like this. Milton said, "Do away with the half the distance. It never gets closer than the one." I like that too. When you got a penalty, it's inside the one, you do half the difference. I don't like that. Now, let me tell you another rule, and I don't know how you fix this, but I don't like it, okay? Let's say, for example, I have I'm on the 10-yard line. I have a 15 I'm the defense. I have offense is on the 10-yard line. There's a 15-yard penalty against the defense, so it's half the distance. Okay, you move the ball to the 5.
Right.
Okay. Then there's a 15-yard penalty on the offense. Well, they get the full 15 yards back. There needs to be some way to kind of make that.
If it's 15 yards, put it all the way down to the 1. You can't put it in the end zone, put it at the 1.
But you know what I'm saying? But you only gave up 5 yards,
right.
But then the offense had to give up a full 15 because you could mark it off. Sure. Somehow there needs to be something, if you're inside, that it's a little more equal on the penalties.
The other thing, too, is that, if you can't assess the full, penalty yardage, you slide it down back. That'll take care of that, too. So, like, if it was a penalty that was not an automatic first down for I'm talking about, like, defense, but offense, too, but defense, then, if it was third down and that penalty occurred, instead of repeating third down and moving the ball up, move the ball up as far as you can and then make it second down. That way when you try to make things fair, there's really no way to be 100% fair about anything, right?
Understand.
Yeah, so that's where the dilemma with football is about the half a distance to the goal line, because it is a lot harder to score from the 1-yard line in a mass pileup, as you know, as a lineman, than it is from the 2-inch yard line.
Especially if you're the Carolina Carolina Panthers, because you don't even want to be inside the 20 because you're scoring inside the red zone.
Oh, this is true.
And Richie, you're probably right. So normally the NFL poached the best NCAA officials. Does this open the pipeline up for having less NCAA officials?
Progression, maybe.
Yeah.
A lot of those, and that's a good point, but I think it's more about their career aspirations maybe as opposed to true poaching because, a lot of these –
everybody wants to move up to the next level.
Most of the time, right? There's some officials that we've seen in college football for 20 and 30 years that truly, and you can tell, truly love, being in that environment. And they're very, very good.
Yep.
And I think, the reason there's so much scrutiny on officials today is because there's instant replay on everything. Why can't you see that? Why are you this bad? When we started incorporating technology, the quality of officiating, overall declined instead of improved because everything's being relied on as the machine. We're letting things play out, then going back. It's like in the NBA or the NCAA tournament. A minute and a half had gone by the other night in the game, and after a timeout, they went back to make sure that was a three-pointer that kid shot. And they would change it if it's not. That has everything to do, 1 or 2, 3 or 2 points, has everything to do with how you call your next offensive or defensive play.
That's correct.
Why would you do that?
You
to
can't
get it
go
right?
You can't go back.
No, what
but
that
you should have got it right to start
with.
with.
A bunch of people that have never been told no, and they can't accept the decisions made that may not be in their favor.
Yeah.
I don't like it. You don't like it. But
why do
no.
you see so many teams in football hurry to the line to get that ball snap before something can be reviewed? Because once it's gone, and there has to be a cutoff.
Yes, and that's the first indicator that something's not right if they're going up there.
That's right.
I mean, if I'm the official, I'm like, okay, I'm throwing my own red flags.
Now,
a bunch of,
Bob Duckworth's got it right here. He says, don't err and create a penalty. That would be correct.
Then
you don't have to worry about it.
Defensively, okay.
Chad, good to see you this morning, Mr. Klein.
See, Bill
said, yeah.
I actually talked to him about this it may have been 10 or 11 years ago at a Legion game. We were talking about things. And
you had to go through the progression.
Yes, and how things had changed because he had known my dad a long time. Of course, when I was a kid, he called a lot of games. And then, as I went on to become a coach and that kind of thing. And that he's exactly right. The progression – for a long time was there, but then we seem to, make technology almost like a religion instead of using it as a tool to improve. It's almost like, well, this is just the end-all, be-all. And that's not – no, human growth and development is, because if we don't have that, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
And that's
and you what Bill was saying was used to be you did youth, middle school, JV before you ever did a varsity.
Yeah.
In the last 2 years, new officials all the time. I mean, because they need bodies out there. I guess that's the biggest thing that's out there. I like the rules. I enjoy that game, and I still say they've when the last time when this happened, it was supposed to be a place where the NFL could explore possible rule changes, possible ways of doing things different, and see how it worked before they. I mean, baseball does it all the time. In the minors, they do different type things in the minors to see how it works before they implement it in Major League Baseball. So,
which they've had some terrible ideas the last few years. They just want to throw that out there.
I
know sometimes you can go back and say that's a bad idea. I know they're trying to improve the game to get people to be more engaged and the speed of the game and all that, but the speed of the game is not too fast for the human element to develop. The problem is you have people that will quit doing something after several failures of it instead of adhering to the process and making sure that they overcome it and become efficient and proficient at it. They're trying to change the depth of the game in baseball on multiple levels, when in reality they need to narrow the teams down to increase the quality. All right, because you have people that don't want to put in, I say, and I'm not talking about all the players and all the kids, but you have some that just don't want to put it in, the expertise and excellence that it takes to play at that speed. Things are always going to get faster. They're always going to get, I say always, most time things are going to get faster. They're going to get better. You adapt or you die.
Yeah.
What Major League Baseball is trying to do is make the world adapt to them instead of them adapting to the world. You say, well, no, Ford, that's not right because – the game's too fast and these pitchers and this and that. And listen.
The whole complaint about baseball is it's too slow, not too fast.
Well, but I'm talking about within the game itself.
Yeah.
How difficult it is to hit, to see the ball coming. Your eyes are everything. People talk about steroids for enhancement, all this. Yeah, it can make you stronger, and obviously some do, right? But it's the whole HGA is more about, getting healthy quicker so you can go out and perform. But yet you put a set of contacts in, and that's okay. I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm saying there's arguments to be made here about what really enhances things, and people can get on the Bonds thing all they want, okay? Number one, it's very obvious, that he became very strong and a lot bigger later in his career. Nobody disagrees with that. But I guarantee the same people that are criticizing it also said, holy cow, did he really hit that thing that far? And that's what baseball was looking for in that specific era.
No, that's
and we just have to be able, we don't have to agree with that, but we have to be able
and
to
I've told you over and over, baseball did not want to remove it from the game, or they could have. They wanted to dance around it and do what they felt like was politically correct. And we know this is going on. We're working on that. But that was some of the best baseball ratings they had when McGuire and Sosa were battling for the for the home runs in a year.
So what do you think would have happened if Major League Baseball commissioner comes in and says, Sosa, Bonds, you guys are done.
Fans wouldn't win.
McGuire, you're done.
Fans wouldn't win.
Think about all the social implications that would come from that as well.
That's what I'm saying. So
there's
baseball,
many things.
I have problems when baseball wants to shun these players when baseball didn't really want to get rid of it either. You can't have it both ways.
Though. They couldn't because they didn't.
I understand, but
they couldn't because there was no rule in place about it. Yes, most of us agree that it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but when I say every minor – look, my brothers played minor league ball, okay, and they played independent ball as well before they got out and started college coaching, all right? And even in college, they would tell you that there were –
in every sport.
In most circumstances, no matter what the league, that people were doing things to try to get the edge.
Every sport.
Other than just doing everything they could do to train with natural
You
food,
had to decide
weights,
how far you were willing to
Vermax,
go to
all these
compete because everybody else was doing it. Doesn't make it right or wrong. You had to make that decision on how much were you willing to do to assure that you could compete.
And it's very hard to tell somebody that came from very little, all right, and this is in any sport, you're just in it for the money. Well, you know what? If you've never had it or you've gone without at Christmas
you don't
or things like that or maybe a birthday, then you're doggone right.
That goes back to what I've said before.
And I encourage people not to judge others based on that.
You can't do it unless you walked in those shoes.
And you can have your opinion, that's fine. But unless you know what you're talking about in that situation, I will square off with
if you haven't walked in those shoes, you can't make decisions, help somebody make decisions when you haven't lived and experienced what they have.
Let me tell you something. If Santa Claus don't show up one year, all right, when you're a little kid, and we know there's kids out there that don't, all right, or if you don't have specific things on birthday and you got and you don't understand, not that you're entitled to those things, but you know what I'm saying? It's part of the world we live in. You know, and then somebody judges somebody for wanting to try to, you know, find the way to do it and at least try to provide something for themselves and their family. Hey, dude, way off rails.
If you haven't
take
been
that holier than thou crap and go somewhere else with it.
If you haven't been a part of it, you can't comment. Have a great day. Be safe. It's raining. See you tomorrow.